My parents-in-law called after 2 years of complete silence. No holidays, no birthdays, no texts. 2 full years like I didn't exist. And then one Wednesday morning, my husband Marcus forwarded me a message from his mother. She wanted to do a makeup dinner. Just the 6 of us, she wrote. Her, Gerald, Dev, and Aunt Carol. Small, quiet, a fresh start. I read it twice. She hadn't said sorry. She'd said she wanted a fresh start. No one responsible. Just a door being opened and an expectation that I'd walk through it. I walked through it anyway. My name is Serena. I'm 34. I'm a senior financial analyst. I read balance sheets for a living. Numbers don't lie to me. People, on the other hand, have been trying to for years. For the first 4 years of my marriage, I was the person the Callahan family called when something needed funding. Marcus's brother Dev needed a car loan co-signed. Patricia needed a credit card balance covered after a vacation she didn't need to take. Gerald wanted a silent investor for a landscaping business that had a logo before it had a single client. I said yes to the car loan. I covered the credit card once. I said no to the landscaping business and offered to help Gerald build an actual business plan instead. Gerald never forgave me for that no. 2 years ago, at a Sunday dinner that started normal and ended nuclear, Gerald called me cold. He said Marcus had married a calculator, not a woman. Marcus sat there and said nothing. I drove home alone that night. We went to counseling. Marcus understood eventually. But the Callahans decided I was the villain of their story, and they played it that way for 2 full years. So when the invitation came, I set one rule for myself. One dinner, civil, no money talk. And if it goes sideways, I leave before dessert. The restaurant was called The Hartwell, the kind of place that charges $18 for a bread basket you didn't ask for. I pulled into the parking lot and counted the cars. Marcus's car, his parents' SUV, Dev's truck, then Aunt Carol's minivan, Uncle Miles's sedan, Gerald's golf buddy Ron's silver coupe, 2 more I didn't recognize. 8 cars. She had written just the 6 of us. I sat in my car with the engine off and read the note on my dashboard. One dinner, then home. I got out. I straightened my jacket. I walked to the door. The hostess looked up when I gave the name. Your party's already seated, she said. The way hostesses say it when a large group has been ordering appetizers for 45 minutes and management is watching. I heard them before I turned the corner. Gerald's laugh, Aunt Carol's voice carrying over the music. I turned the corner. 14 people. A table stretched across a private dining room I was never told was reserved. Ribeyes, a shrimp tower, 2 bottles of champagne already open and half poured. Patricia stood up with both arms open. Serena! Oh, you look wonderful! We're so glad you came. I smiled. 15 years of presentations teaches you to smile while your brain is running threat assessment. I sat down. Gerald had already ordered for the table, more ribeyes coming. He flagged down the server, a young woman named Camille, and described wine with the confidence of a man who'd learned 3 words at a tasting and had been using them ever since. He pulled his card from his wallet, held it between 2 fingers, and told Camille to keep it on file. Tonight's a celebration, he announced. Loud enough for the next table to hear. I noted the card. I noted the performance. Gerald's car had a cracked windshield he'd mentioned 3 times he couldn't fix. Patricia's coat had a pulled hem she'd been meaning to repair since autumn. They were performing prosperity, and the audience was me. The small comments started with the appetizers. Uncle Miles said it must be nice having that finance salary while some of us budget grocery runs. He laughed when he said it. Aunt Carol patted my hand and told me family doesn't keep track of things like money. Family doesn't keep track. From a woman who'd sent Marcus an itemized list of every gift she'd ever given him during an argument 5 years ago. I ordered sparkling water. Just sparkling water. The only thing in front of me all evening. I excused myself around the 40-minute mark. The restroom had marble countertops and flattering lighting. I ran cold water over my wrists and looked at myself in the mirror. On the counter next to the soap was a phone in a case covered in small green cactus stickers. Dev's phone. The screen was lit. and the notification preview at the top was from a group chat called Dinner. The preview read, "She won't say no in front of everyone. She never could." I picked it up. The full message was from Patricia. Sent 4 days ago. She won't say no in front of everyone. She never could handle being the difficult one publicly. Gerald just has to make the ask feel natural, like she's rejoining the family, not paying a bill. Gerald's reply, "I'll wait until the end. After the wine, she'll be in a good mood." I scrolled further. And then I found it. Gerald, 10 days ago. "The second mortgage payment is due June 3rd. If we don't cover it, we're looking at a notice. Serena makes 3 times what Marcus does. This dinner needs to work." And Patricia, 6 days ago. "It's not asking for money. It's welcoming her back. If she loves Marcus, she'll help Marcus's family." I set the phone back exactly where I found it. I washed my hands. I looked in the mirror, and I felt something I didn't expect. Not anger, not hurt. Clarity. The kind that settles over you when you stop negotiating with a situation and finally just see it. I dried my hands and walked back out. I didn't go back to my seat first. I walked to the host stand where the floor manager, a composed woman named Diane, was reviewing a tablet. Camille was beside her. I kept my voice low. "I'm not the host tonight, and I won't be covering this table. The reservation is under Gerald Callahan, and his card is already on file. Please direct the full check to him." Diane looked at me for 2 seconds, then she nodded. "Of course. One more thing. Please split my sparkling water onto a separate check, and add 25% to mine for Camille." "Done," Diane said. That was the whole conversation. 90 seconds, no drama. I paid my check on the spot and walked back to the table and sat down and waited. Gerald waited until dessert plates arrived. He folded his hands. He looked at me across 14 people and 2 empty champagne bottles. "Serena," he smiled. "You've got this covered, right? Consider it your welcome back gift to the family." I didn't answer right away. 4 seconds of silence. "Let me go check on things," I said, and I stood up. Patricia exhaled. Every single person at that table thought I was going to the register to pay. 8 minutes later, Camille walked the full length of the table and placed the leather check presenter directly in front of Gerald Callahan. The table went silent. Gerald picked it up. He did not look at the total. He couldn't look at the total in front of 14 people. He pulled his card from his wallet and handed it to Camille. "We're celebrating," he said again. Quieter this time. Camille returned in 5 minutes. She leaned down beside him. "I'm sorry, Mr. Callahan. The card isn't going through. Would you like to try another?" Nobody moved. Second card. Third card pulled from behind his license like a last bullet in a chamber. Camille came back a final time and didn't need to speak. 14 people. 0 forks moving. The sound of Gerald Callahan's 2-year performance ending in real time. He looked at me, not with anger, with the expression of a man who has just realized the safety net he built out of someone else's silence has been cut. "What did you do?" "I didn't do anything, Gerald. Your card was declined. That's between you and your bank." "You were supposed to," he stopped himself, "but not fast enough." 14 people heard the sentence he didn't finish. I stood up. I picked up my purse. "If you need real help, I will sit down with you and a financial advisor, and we will make a plan. No audience, no performance. But I am not paying this bill. I didn't order it. I wasn't told about it. And I don't owe it to you." I looked at Patricia. "You said I should want to help because I love Marcus. You're right. I do love him. But loving Marcus has never meant writing blank checks to a family that calls me cold for 2 years and then calls me back when the mortgage is due." I walked out. Camille caught me near the exit. She was holding my receipt. "Thank you," she said quietly. I touched her arm. "You handled a hard table tonight. You did great." Outside the air was cool. I sat in my car with the window down. I opened my phone. The family group had 17 new messages already. I didn't read them. I left the group and drove home. The silence on the way home was different from the silence on the way there. On the way there, it was anxious. On the way home, it was mine. The most expensive thing I ever paid for was the right to be needed. The night I stopped paying for it was the night I found out what was actually free. If you've ever been the family ATM, hear this. Helping is a choice, not a debt, and a boundary doesn't have to be loud to hold. Share this with someone who needs it tonight. Subscribe, and I'll see you at the next table.